All right, guys, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. We're going to talk about kind of some of the problems that may be plaguing Costa Rica, some concerns that us people that live here have. We're going to do a deep dive into it in about, 45 seconds. Guys, I'm Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Hey, man, we're up at the relocation retreat at Montana del Fuego. We're having a great time. Now, if Costa Rica is on your radar, this isn't about the relocation retreat. Don't turn off yet. But if Costa Rica is on your radar, thinking you might want to live here, but you're not quite sure, this 6-7 day event might be for you because you're going to learn all the information you need to know. And I think at the end of it, you'll say, is Costa Rica right? Or it's, honey, we're going to Belize. So anyway, all that information, we've got one coming soon. We'd love to see here. All the information is in the link in the description. You recognize these guys? We've talked to them before. Matter of fact, every time we talk to them, it's a really good video. Oh, I forgot. Please subscribe. Costa Rica's hard. Please. And if you want to see videos as we put them up, hit the notification bell. James, this is James. And Jeannie, again, we've talked to him before, and those videos always do good because we have great conversations.
Yeah, we have fun.
Even when James is here.
Even when
the
I'm
last
here.
time you were about.
I know.
Here.
All right, so
I got him here.
Jeannie presents. Do you present or just you?
Just me.
So Jeannie presents at this relocation retreat. So why don't you tell everybody briefly what you do and kind of what you present?
Yeah, and they can always check out the videos we've done. Yeah, so I am a freelancer, and I coach and train others to freelance, work digitally online to earn money, income, 500, 2,000, whatever your story is. Then you move down here, as a lot of people don't know that when you get here, you can't get a job. So it's about money, it's about staying engaged, it's about being of service, and it's fun. That's what I do. I
just think real quick, when you said this the last time, a lot of people just don't know they have options.
Yeah.
You know, they think, well, here's what I did in the States. That doesn't segue into internet.
That's the biggest, most difficult piece for people is what would I do with my 10, 20, 30 years? And my job is to work with people to really figure out the way. And you've got tons, so don't even worry about that.
All right, guys, I want to get into this. This might be a long video. I hope our microphones can hold up. So, people write, a lot of times they'll be like, oh, you only talk about having coffee with the macaws flying by you in the morning and everything is paradise and you should move to Costa Rica because it's the best country in the world. It's the happiest people. And maybe some of that's true. But like any country, I think Costa Rica's got its issues. And I think you guys actually, a few of them you've dealt with. Mm-hmm. And I want to bring up, I think, what I would consider maybe some of the top ones that people might have concerns with. And I think we should just jump to kind of crime.
So we're doing the bad and the ugly.
Yeah, we're kind of,
Start with the bad and the ugly.
Yeah, and we'll never get to the good probably because this is going to take a minute.
Yeah.
But so if they didn't see those first videos, I think you guys might have something to say about the crime because what happens is it comes out in the States, whether it's newspaper or the news, Costa Rica's having a crime wave or, they're jumped up far in the, the ratio of deaths to,
Oh, yeah.
So let's chat about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Whatever you're.
Well, we can do crime kind of safety-ish, that.
There's a safety security kind of crimey thing.
Yeah, and I think it varies, right? So whether you live in a a smaller town on the coast or you live in San Jose, there's going to be different. But certainly in the area that we live,
which is in Guanacaste, so we're in the northwest on the Pacific between Tamarindo and Playa del Coco. So we're smack in the middle of those two.
Yeah. So crime for us is there's I don't think that we fear for our safety a lot. That kind of crime. But the kind of crime that really is prevalent where we live and we've been victims of it is, there's petty crime, snatch and grab sort of stuff all the time, but lots of break-ins, right? Because there's a lot of folks who don't live there full time. And when we first got here, we were victims of, we went out for 2 hours. We came back and our house was just totally ransacked. We lost everything.
Everything. So that's happened.
Yeah.
And then, but we know, so that was on us because we hadn't set up our alarm system yet. But we've known people, it comes in waves, right? So you got to remember, a lot of us come down from North America. They're visiting. Then there's the tourists that come and don't listen to the recommendations that are given to them about what to do about locking up.
Kind of commonsensical.
They don't. And then, so what we find is most of that happens when there's no alarm set. windows
Leave
are
your
left
camera
open.
in your car in plain sight.
Yeah. But that is the biggest thing. But we have had a few things recently that were a little bit more concerning. Like with our friend, we won't mention any names because we don't want to do that. But we had a friend who was walking back from the area, had his backpack on, was accosted by two men on a motorcycle, and he wouldn't give them his phone.
Or his backpack.
And pardon my French, but they beat the shit out of him. They had to send him to San Jose for reconstruction.
I don't know if we should be doing this video. Let's just turn this one off because this might be a little too much.
It's like it's deep.
It just happened.
Well, no, but I want truth. This is why I think I want people to know. And I would also say, like, again, I'm not saying anybody deserves that to happen, but I mean, it's always, try to be alert in your situation.
Yeah, well, here's the thing with James and me, though, too. So we're telling you all this. I would still rather deal with the one-off thing that happens occasionally in my area. And I'm going to be really honest here. We do not have 330 million plus guns in this country. I don't go to a grocery store. I don't walk around worrying about what's going to happen to me. And it's something no matter where you go. It's always something. And I think what I need to make clear is, too, a lot of us come from areas in the States where that was not an issue, but millions and millions of people live in that every day in the United States. So it's kind of a change in awareness. It's a change in vigilance. It's just different than what most of our neighborhoods have been like and what we're used to.
I think once you get your home dialed in of secure,
absolutely.
You're pretty good. I think, and a lot of times the crime is San Jose, Limon. It is a drug, Limon's a port town. That's where the drugs are coming in. So now what you're talking about, like if you're seeing murder rates, you're seeing kind of, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying what's true. Bad guys are killing other bad guys.
Because we talk about that. It's not
necessarily if they're just doing now anywhere there's tourists, people are going to be running the little scams. Oh, you just left your backpack on the beach. Let me go take that.
Yeah. Don't leave your backpack on the beach.
But again, common sense. I don't like to really. You got to be responsible. Come on, man. Yeah. You're going to another country. Be, just a little bit. Maybe.
It's common sense stuff too. You don't walk along. You don't walk at the beach at 11 o'clock at night where it's dark. I mean, it's just like you wouldn't.
I wouldn't do that
home.
Anywhere.
You don't go bar hopping by yourself, roaming around drunk in San Jose, going, where the hell are bar? I mean, you want to go take taxis from place to place, or be around a group of people, or what? Yes. I mean, just some of these things will go a long way, and I don't.
It is. Oh, absolutely. When we got robbed, I want to be clear. We had it on our list to get security. That was on us. We weren't
dialed in yet.
We weren't dialed in yet, and it was off.
What I would like to, I guess we're talking a little bit about travel. I actually want to probably turn it back to kind of the living here thing. What are the people you hang out with, the people you say, what do they say about like crime, the petty, the robberies? Is it getting to be a thing? Is it discussed a lot? Does it happen a lot? Is some of these one-off and it just, okay? Because La Fortuna, I had a drive-by of one street over. A guy on a bike went and shot somebody in a car, totally drug-related.
Yeah.
And it was one street over, and that doesn't happen really. And I don't go, oh my God.
Yeah.
No, it's not good, but you know what I mean? So are some of these, anecdotal stories, or is it like the motorcycle driving by and getting your neighbors? Does that happen a lot?
No, that was a kind of a one-off fluky thing. And I have to say though, the way the neighborhood came together to care for him was over the top amazing. What everybody did for food trains, GoFundMe, really amazing. To answer your question,
about the people that the conversation that's prevalent around the people that we have that live here or live here at least most of the time is kind of what we're talking about. This stuff is not. Nobody walks around as a day-to-day concern like, oh, the crime is just crazy.
I shouldn't have moved here.
No,
yeah.
I think that's a good
it does
point.
Happen. Some people do. Some people. We do know one couple where their house they got robbed while they were out, right? They never recovered from it. They just could not get over it.
They were angry.
They were angry and pissed, and it just festered and festered and festered. And that is an anomaly. Most of the people that we know that live here, that we hang out with, it's like this is.
It's kind of
common sense stuff.
It's a common sense stuff, and when it happens, like I said, it's a lot of time it's tourists who do not listen to when your property manager says lock up at night, turn your alarm on. Do it, or the people that got robbed on they were on their wedding thing and they didn't lock their windows. They slept outside on their balcony and on the beach.
The cats?
What is that?
Are they fighting?
I think it's cats.
My God, good Lord.
So it's not a regular everyday conversation. And here's the thing. It's still pick and choose. You know, look at where we're living and things happen wherever we are. James and I just aren't dramatic that way. And some people are more drawn to drama.
Yeah.
And they will make this their entire conversation on a chat. They are not doing anything else. They're not occupied with anything else. So it becomes this.
It's that one that goes, don't go to Costa Rica, you get robbed there.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
No, you got robbed there. And actually, I bet if we would dove into that story a little bit, you might have at least a little bit of responsibility for it. Now, I hate to say that because people, you shouldn't be. No, you shouldn't be robbed. But were you roaming around drunk on a street, in San Jose?
It does not excuse that it happened.
Right.
But you also have to be, we have to be responsible for ourselves and our own vigilance to take care of what we need to take care of. Like, for example, we know people that were just traveling and they left their backpacks in their car and went inside.
In plain sight.
And they got their backpacks taken. And I'm like going, well, first of all, in the States, if I had my laptop in my backpack, I would still take my backpack out of my car. Like, that's just me, right? So I do it here. So things like that happen, but use your common sense and it can all be just fine.
You hit the nail on the head, Michael, when you said, like, if you're living here and you get settled, you get dialed in, right? It's
got your dog, got your cameras, got your security.
We do not sit in our house in fear of being robbed or being or walking downtown to the
You can
brewery.
come in. We'll just keep going. We are, but have some coffee.
Yeah, you're fine. We're taping, and you can say hi if you want.
Yeah, say hi. Yeah.
Okay, we definitely got to hit. I think sooner rather than later, we got to talk about the water issue because even in my town, I'm hearing it more and more. I'm hearing it about like in Samara or some of these places that are, it's a really a problem. So why don't you guys know this a lot more than me. Why don't you tell them overall what the problem is about the water?
Well, you know that because you actually sat down with the
president. And why it's a problem.
He sat down with the president of Arasada to understand what's happening. So
Arasada is the water company, right?
They're the local waters in each town.
And they're under the big one called Aya. And then there's all the Asadas around the country.
Okay,
so in general, the problem is there's plenty of water in Costa Rica. The problem is distribution, right? I mean, so
we have the 7th largest rainfall in the world,
right?
Here, so,
but especially the coastal areas are just in dire need of water because of the proximity to the ocean and the aquifers. And
okay, explain that because here's what's happening because we're saying, the waterfall's great, but we have a problem in the dry.
Explain the aquifer.
So like in Guanacaste, which is the dry where we live, is the driest area of Costa Rica, right? So and it's very dry for the dry season, not a drop of rain for 6 months. I mean, not a drop, right? So you rely on the aquifers of the water that's underground. Mm-hmm. And there's the aqueducts, which bring in water from different parts of the country, are very far and few between there. So as they keep building and building and building and adding more infrastructure, it puts stress on the aquifers.
They don't stay full. They can't get enough water.
They can't get enough water in from the aqueducts, which again bring in water, let's say from the mountains or where there's more water.
So the infrastructure, there's not enough piping and tanks to hold the water, and bring the water into the.
So just to be clear, because I'm stupid, but there is enough water.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We are not without water. It's that the country, check me, but everything is building so quickly, and people have discovered Costa Rica. I mean, International Living made it their number 1 spot for retirement for 2024.
We're talking about infrastructure a little bit more.
Right. So. But all these people are coming in and all the building is happening. And then if you live out like where we live or Nassau and all that, you're far away from where they're collecting all the water. So the systems to get it stressed, to get it to these further places is difficult. So like where we live, a big deal right now is they need to find a piece of property.
Right.
Then they have to find a place of property that's big enough to put a big tank on.
Yep.
And then they've got to be able to do the infrastructure with the piping that leads to this tank that fills the water.
So you got the aqueducts that come in that bring in massive amounts of water. but then the infrastructure is so old in the communities that they can't handle the pressure that the aqueducts can bring in. So then they can't turn it on full blast, right? So they have to like redo all of these houses and
it
areas.
takes money.
And
is this all over Costa Rica down the coastlines? Is this more focused there? Because I've heard bad things. Samara.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Coastal beach towns are the worst.
Yeah. So I the stories get to me somehow. But what's this thing where, let's say you buy land, and I don't know, maybe there's not water on there yet or something, and you start building and stuff. Will you explain that? Because again, you know it better than I do. But something about you got to have like water rights.
You have to have permission. It's called a water letter from your local asada, and they control how many pieces of land get water. So they got to control the spread of uncontrolled growth and all that. So you have to if you buy a piece of land and it does not have a water letter. Right now, there's a moratorium on water letters.
As of 2022?
2022, January 2022, in our area, you can't get a water letter. Meaning, if you buy a piece of property that doesn't already have one,
means you have no water meter. There's nothing built there.
So you can't build on it because there's no water. They will not give you a water meter to get you the water.
Now, do you have to get this prior to buying something, or how's that? How would the process work?
Now.
Like, I bought a lot of land, I want to build a house. Do I already have the water letter?
Some of the lots that are bought have already got water.
When we bought our property, it already had a water meter, and it had a water letter with a water meter. So there was already a little Tico house on it. So we already had it, but there's a lot of proproperties that don't have no.
So most of them, if you're buying a used, it's probably got the water. You're probably pretty good. But if you're buying new or going to build, you probably should make sure.
Don't buy a piece of property unless
you can get a water letter.
Now, what was this thing about renewing? You were talking about earlier to me.
If I bought, let's say I bought a lot 10 years ago, and I got a water letter saying that, hey, when I build on this property, you're guaranteed water. That's what the water letter says. But every 2 years, you've got to renew it.
A minor point that they don't always tell you.
So if you forget,
or you don't know, we had that happen.
It's usually going to be you don't know. I think here with us gringos, you're just like I took care of that. What's the problem?
Exactly.
We have friends in our area that happened to it. Actually, happened over COVID. So they got stuck in North America, couldn't get back here. Didn't know about it, so they missed their 2 years and they lost their water letter. So it took them 2.5 years.
It took them 2.5 years to get it back.
Yeah, with legal help and everything to finally get a water letter so they could have their home.
Now, are we seeing any problem solving for the future in water? Is it just going to be bad? You know what I mean? Like, are they doing something to fix some of these issues?
It's going to be bad for a while, but they're working it.
Well, you've lived here a long time, Michael, so you know that it takes a long time sometimes to get stuff.
You said that nicely.
So they say, hey, we're going to fix this. It'll be another 5 years, and then in 5 years, it's another 5 years.
Which is true. That's not actually an exaggeration.
That's a paving the road thing. I can't tell you the road to El Castillo is going to be paved. 10 years ago, they were saying that. It's and then finally got paved a few years ago, whenever it was. Yes. But I think it took 12 or something like that. But the water thing seems a little bit more important. I mean, water,
Well, it's an interesting thing because you've got the government, you've got AYA in charge of all the water, and then you have all the different asadas. Yeah. And it's kind of an interesting thing because they want us coming in, right? So tourism is their number one way of making money in Costa Rica. And each of us that come here and live here, we have an average, they say, of $30,000 to $40,000 a year we put into the country. So they want us coming here, right? So it's not like they don't want people to come and spend our money here. But then they got the water thing. So it's a big, like, how do they figure that all out? And then just recently in the paper, so I'm not saying anything, but then there's a whole thing about the AYA and corruption.
Right, the AYA again is the head.
That's the government water.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So there's a whole big thing happening there. So they are changing AYA around, and it trickles down to the asadas, and then there's kind of all that stuff too down there because all of a sudden somebody is building a home, And we're going,
They don't have a problem with their water.
how did that happen? So it's like anything
Well,
else.
I say this country's kind of run like that. I mean, that's
But
who
everywhere
you know.
that's
Kind of
right.
I know somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's when it works for you, it's kind of nice.
Exactly.
And I know a lot of people. It's sometimes kind of nice to get things done. But I
Yeah.
want to hit the infrastructure a little bit because I'm not sure if Costa. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
You know, making residency, let's say, easier. The 180-day turn.
Mhm.
You know, easier. When I was just back on the coast with my son doing that trip, we hit Jaco, Manuel Antonio, Dominical, and Ubita. And I'm seeing it here in La Fortuna. They just keep building.
Yeah, building.
They just keep. They're filling every little space. They're taking the hills away, taking the jungle away for whatever. I mean, we went in Manuel Antonio. I think it's called the Mountain Top or Top of the Mountain. It's this huge, like 4-story thing. It looks like it's going to fall over. You know, it's up on that cliff, and it's just like you can build anywhere. I don't know. I've really noticed, and there's a lot more to infrastructure than water.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like just go with the roads or like maybe messing with the corridors of the jungle. You know, the monkeys can't, keep moving along.
We're working on that in our area right now. We're actually in a project right now with
Adding
monkey bridges
because they got all wiped out.
So I don't know. It's just like, do you everyone comes in. Well, you don't. You're not prepared for it. You know, like in La Fortuna, they keep building the traffic. Okay, I'm not trying to be that old guy that goes, it was really nice when I got here 20 years.
People now, Michael.
Yeah, but but they're not even like, okay, they build this big parking lot. Right in the middle. Nobody parks there. Everyone's on the side of the roads, jamming up things. And the trucks come in to unload their bread to the store, take up 2 lanes, don't care.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe start with like some sort of meter system.
Yeah.
And then if you can't, have the meter system, then it'll force people parking and you give tickets and they won't. Because now nobody cares. You just park wherever you want.
Which is what I like, actually. It's part of the charm.
Yeah, during high season, it's just a major. The cars go all the way back up to here. Like not okay. Here might be a little bit dramatic, but like all the way up, like around him, and you just see him streaming down, and it's like, I don't know. And then I think the other thing, kind of also with the infrastructure and the killing the jungle a little bit, is that everyone kind of like gentrification. Kind of. Yeah. Now, I mean, I think there's also some pluses. I think to I think for locals, work and kind of stuff like that. But we kind of
it's a love-hate relationship.
Yes, I think.
It's really interesting that you say that. Our area where we live in an unincorporated part of Costa Rica next to a town that's incorporated. So we kind of are neighbors with that town. And we happen to both actually be on the board for our area. I'm the secretary.
How'd you get on the board? No.
I don't get anything. Just so you know, we have no favors for that. But what's interesting is the conversation that we're having about the building in our neighborhood. So we just built a commercial building, which is actually lovely. Coffee is nice. And now they're building another one. And I'm going to say something, so I don't mean to offend anybody. So I'm just going to do the Michael thing. I'm just going to say what I'm going to say, and you're going to like me or hate me. But, our big thing right now is we want to work to make sure we don't grow to be a tamarindo. Like we're going to grow. You can see it happening with your eyes.
Tamarindo right under the bus.
No, I think everybody knows. It's just growing. And I know, see? But what you said is we're actually in those conversations right now. It's like, what is this going to look like as it grows and grows? Because we can see it happening.
Well, that's what I'm saying about Fortuna. Fortuna's turning into Tamarindo, and I will bag on Tamarindo. I can't stand Tamarindo. It's way too old, but it's happening here. I'm not. I see it. It's too touristy. It's just too slow down. Yeah, I think slow down. But again,
Costa Rica has been discovered. You were here way before anybody knew it. And James and I have lived in places. Almost every place we've ever lived has been discovered when we've lived there.
Yeah.
And it's happening again. It's like you find a really nice spot, and eventually, sooner or later, people discover it and they come.
So how do you? Okay, so you're talking about. You guys are talking about it. Is there any sort of solution or some direction you guys are going to move into to help with it, or is this?
That's. I think that was one of the reasons that we got involved with the board and talking to people. There is an active concern in our community, and it's being, I think, driven pretty well by conversation about not letting that happen.
as best we can.
Now, well, there's a balance, right?
Can I just say I really appreciate that every time you bring your arm back, you're not hitting my head. So thank you, because I keep working.
I know,
he does it. You're doing a good job. Thank you.
So I think the community itself is aware, and we're trying to balance growth, doing it well, as opposed to just free for all. So there is a lot of conversation with people who have a say in the community, and we're
Ticos that actually have it in, and
we're
know the
actually
government.
having conversations about not letting it become a tamarindo.
If we
now,
can.
I am going to throw.
But,
okay, go ahead.
But at the same time, we have to grow. But we want it to be.
I mean, we want people to have their homes that are sitting there with a piece of property and need a water line.
Well, I'm going to say this because I think somebody will comment if I don't say it. So, who are you as gringos to kind of decide in another land in another country? You see what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
So, where's okay? Are the Chicos involved in this? Do they even live? Are they even around you?
Around us, and
someone will say that, by the way.
The president of our homeowners association. Well,
it's a property owners, and it's not a mandatory one, and it's completely voluntary. Nobody gets paid a dime.
And
he's Tico. He's been here his whole life. He's amazing. And he runs the thing, and he asks us what we think because of who we are, meaning we are the people coming in. So he is interested in what we think. And I would say 100% of the time we defer to whatever the Tico.
Yeah, somebody's going to go, what's these white people doing, saying what's going on? You know what I mean?
No, we use our skills. I'm a secretary. Yeah. I'm really good at taking notes and minutes. But that's important to have.
It's a great question to say, because there are areas where, especially where like homeowners association stuff, where it's just expats. Right.
We are not.
And they're those people. But
we are not that.
We're not that.
No.
Okay, let's move.
Is that okay?
We could have a.
Okay with that? Okay, good.
Seriously. We could have each video about each little topic I think we're talking about. Let's just real quick go over cost of living, because if I hear one more time, Costa Rica is expensive. Costa Rica is expensive. There's so many other countries you can go to besides Costa Rica, Nicaragua. And yes, that's true. All that's kind of
until
true.
They get. I mean, it's a rolling thing.
So let's just go with cost of living a little bit. How do you find prices? Are they too much, or do you guys have enough money to where you don't really have to check the bill? You know what I mean?
No,
like
you
can just buy what you want to buy.
We're not those people. We are not those people.
We are still working.
They look like those people, don't they?
In my overalls.
Yes. My black T-shirt
that you wear every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would say, well, in general, this is definitely not the cheapest place in the world. That unless you, and I think you said it in one of your videos that I saw years ago, unless you want to live on a mountaintop and eat bananas and rice and beans, right? Yes, yeah. But in general, prices there are cheaper places. The closer you get to the water, the more expensive it is as well.
That's where we live. So we're a half a mile from the water.
But I just have to say, once you come here and you live here and you get your groove on, you can keep your expenses low, right? You can't act like you just came from North America and go down to the gringo grocery store and buy your Jiffy,
people do
peanut butter and all the American brands and all that.
Expensive.
It's going to be a lot more expensive. You want to shop at the local farmer's market and get all your fresh produce, and go to the fishmonger down the street and get fresh fish.
I just think it's real rich for people to go, it's so expensive in Costa Rica. What are you talking about your country? What are you looking at? Because obviously you have your own issues.
I'm glad you said that, because I got to tell my whole thing is and I think I said this on another video, but James and I sold everything in the United States. We sold everything. I mean, I have a picture of him on the sidewalk with our ironing board, like The Jerk, the movie The Jerk, not him. And
you had to say that just to make sure nobody thought you were the jerk.
Well, I don't know the age group of our whole audience. They may not know the movie, but
I don't talk to jerks, just so we're clear.
Yeah, with Steve Martin. It's a great movie. So we didn't do that. So it took us doing that to come here.
Yeah.
So, we water is really inexpensive here. Your water bill's nothing, like $11.
I just paid mine. Mine was $7.
Electric, exactly. Electric is
crazy.
Electric is if you abuse it. So we watched that. But see, here's the thing, and this is just how we've done it. So there's no right way of doing it. But James and I, we're not foodies, so our life isn't about food, and it's just a thing we're not. I mean, I know our friends are foodies, we're not. So we're really happy eating very simply with rice and beans and a protein. We don't go to
some of the best fruits and vegetables on the planet. Are here.
We don't go to the automercado, which is the more expensive American thing. We are happy to eat regular brand peanut butter. We don't need. We really. And it's just our choice. We don't have an opinion for other people, but we really left that behind, right? We don't bring a lot of stuff down here. We don't.
And I'll almost throw one thing in. That's the biggie. And people miss this part of it, right? So yes. So we sold our home. We don't have a mortgage here. I don't have $14,000 a year property taxes.
Yeah, people never talk about how low
my property taxes here in Costa Rica last year were $700 for the year, and back home it was $700 or $800 a month.
Yeah, that gets underplayed here. I don't know why, and it's kind of a huge, to me, kind of selling point.
I told people you do have to pay more here for dog food. Dog food is expensive, but we have 2 standard poodles.
That's why I have a cat. Stalk your own prey.
So people talk about that a lot. That's funny. And I'm sorry, it took me a moment.
Go get your own food.
You know what? We were first concerned should James be in our video because we don't know, but now it might be Jeanne we got to kick out.
I was like, that was funny.
We got to kick her out the curb.
We can't do that with our dogs. But then I say, we'll be in a group and people will be going on and on about the expense and I'm like, do you have a mortgage? Like our mortgage in where we were before we were $2,300 a month just in our mortgage alone where we lived in the States, plus our property tax. And I'm like, okay, so you take that off my monthly bill. I'll pay an extra $20 for a bag of dog food.
Right.
Like it's just it's a choice every day to choose how you're going to react to what your life is doing.
I don't know. If you're thinking about making a move to Costa Rica and not changing anything, you're just going to come down here and act like where you're from. Your attitude's the same. I don't get that. To me, it's like, it's called Pura Vida and simple life for a reason because they live a simple life. Some of these people, or most of them, only make $600 to $1,200 a month. Yes. They pay their bills. They sometimes live with their family or roommates. They're out playing soccer. They're doing their thing.
They got a great life.
And a lot of people think, oh, look at the poverty over there. They got a roof. They're fine. Don't tell them.
My first discovery on that, we went to the beach. And it goes down this big hill, and there's just these really old shanties on the road down to the beach. Yeah. And we were driving back up from the beach, and it was we hadn't been here 3 months when we had our son with us. And I just was like, this is a whole different way of thinking about wealth. Because the wealth these people have to live walking distance to that gorgeous beach right there with their motorcycle and their little Tico house with their family and their kids. I'm like, that's wealthy.
I think so. Well, when you're when you're going through the young ages, going through your 30s, you want money so you can have time. But what they do is they have the time. It's like that whole like we don't live to work, we work to live.
Yeah.
And that's a kind of refreshing in a sense that because most people, I think, in the States are defined by their work.
It's capitalism.
And if you didn't work, you'd be like, who am I?
Well, not even your work; it's the money.
Yeah.
It's if I don't have the money, then I don't fit.
So they do the opposite. They already have the time. They may not be making as much, but their time, to me, time's the biggest commodity. I don't think it's money. It's time.
Well, they also don't know any better, which is like a good thing. It hasn't, you can live fine.
No, you guys residents?
We are not.
We are not. We're still
choosing not to.
Okay, so I was going to talk about the healthcare system or the CAHA and kind of that kind of thing. Okay, well, you don't have to be resident. Now, if you become a resident here, it's mandatory that you pay into the Social Security, which we call the CAHA monthly.
Yeah.
But again, I think the expense of health care down here doesn't necessarily pertain to that. It pertains to, what kind of insurances did you bring down from the States? Can it work here? Are you using private? Are you using public? Are you paying cash? Are you going back to the States to do stuff because it's this or that? So how do you guys, if I can ask, run your health care? I guess?
Yeah, we have private health insurance, but we actually got it here.
So we have international.
We have international health insurance.
Yeah, and because we have 2 grown children that live in Europe, so we knew that traveling was part of our life here. So we needed to be covered for when we visit them. And
so no matter where we are, we're covered.
So we both got different plans because I didn't pass my first test. He did. He passed it with flying colors. I had to do another test. And so we have two different plans.
Damn, look at those guns.
And I'm like, just like a guy, passed the first time out, and they find these things with us ladies. But so we have that. So that takes care of catastrophic, right? So something happens to us here.
So like
are you happy with the price of that? Is it cost effective or is it pretty expensive?
Here's the thing. What I was going to say is it depends.
We don't have to get all personal.
No, we're fine with it. It just depends what you're doing in the States. So James and I weren't working for companies that were covering our health care where the money was coming out of a paycheck and we never saw it and would go to a doctor. We were independent freelancers, entrepreneurs doing our thing. So the amount of money, even with Obamacare, and I'm great with that, it just didn't work for us. So we're very satisfied.
So it's a lot cheaper than what we were paying in the United States.
And the coverage is safe. So it's only catastrophic?
Well, it's $1,000 deductible.
So anything can happen to us. We just talked to our insurance guy again, 2 weeks ago, checking. I mean, covered no matter where we go, emergency, they'll ambulance, the whole thing, hospital stay, everything. It's $1,000 here, $5,000 anywhere else we go in the world.
Deductible.
It follows us It follows us.
So that's maximum out of pocket.
So that covered our catastrophic. Then anything day to day, labs, checkups, bad stomach,
just
whatever.
Cash.
We just pay cash.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do.
We went to the dentist the other day, had about the best cleaning we've ever had. He had x-rays, both of us.
Full x-rays, cleaning, exam, whole 9 yards.
Both of us for $190 for both of us.
For both of us.
And you can't get out of a dentist in the United States.
Can't even get in the door for one.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And we have found it to be nothing but
we've been nothing but very satisfied with the quality of medical care that we've gotten here.
The knowledge, the care, the time, thinking thoughts that, you wouldn't have thought of. You can go to a pharmacy and the pharmacist will talk to you and offer you and don't understand.
Yeah, people don't know that. A lot of times if I go to the pharmacy first, actually. They'll give shots there. They'll do this. They'll do kind of things that, I don't know.
They'll give you drugs over the counter that you can't get in the States.
I think there's a lot of options in healthcare that people like to whine, oh, it's so expensive. Well, again, how much is it where you're at?
Well, here, I just want to say, for all of you, you can Google the health outcomes for the world. And the United States has some of the lowest health outcomes anywhere in the world. Now, if you get something, cancer or whatever, I understand there's certain things, but the outcomes are terrible.
Yeah, I'm kind of big on...
You can't look at it as the best healthcare. It's not, and I don't mean to be, but it's not. Look at the statistics.
I think I've always kind of tried to be more preventive. I eat good. I do exercise. Not that that's going to save, not save me, but I think I'm doing probably a little bit better than the 60-year-old that weighs 250, doesn't really get out of their way on the couch, watches Netflix all day down here and drinks box wine.
We're like that. He'll be 64 this year. I'll be 63, and we do. We're like you.
So I'm older.
You are. You're the oldest. I told you that last time.
Yeah, we talked about that last time.
You're so old.
Yeah, but I think preventive. What is an ounce of prevention is a pound of cure or something like that. It's true, dude. Man, go for. And here, what better place to take a walk? You don't got to get all crazy. You don't got to go to the gym. You just go take a walk sometimes and maybe just tone down. Just throw the sodas out. Just throw the Cokes out, and maybe hit a few more vegetables, and you'd be.
That's what we do.
I have a theory. I think when people move down here, I think their diet does change. I just think the way you eat. You eat different. I don't know if it's humidity. I don't know if it's because McDonald's isn't on every corner or something. But for some reason, I just think people. One of the ladies here, Kat, said she has lost 20 pounds since she's been living here.
We both lost
12. And it's not like I consciously said I need to lose weight, because I really didn't need to lose the weight, but just because we eat differently here.
Well, it's eating different, and the other thing, if you're less stressed, how much of the food that we take in is stress eating? Yeah. And I'm sorry, but there's
mind and body.
Yeah, and you don't feel like it. It could be we don't eat as much. We just, No,
I agree. I think it's true, but I don't know. They've got, as a population, I think I've noticed them, at least, I'll just go with Fortuna. They seem to have gotten a little bigger over the years. So I think we've gotten more I think the Western, I don't know, food choices kind of creeped in or something.
It has. There's a new. Have you seen that documentary about the blue zones? It's on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I used to blog about.
And he was talking at the end. He was talking about what's coming in. So the one here that's on the Nicoya Peninsula,
no, down by Maltese.
Yeah, the Nicoya Peninsula. They're watching it. It's all changing, right? Because they're bringing in the fast foods and all the stuff that's coming in. So that whole blue zone effect of it is going away because the younger generations are getting.
Yeah. If you guys aren't sure, the blue zones are where they find. I think there's around 7 around the world. Okinawa, Seventh-day Adventists in the States. But what it is the total amount of octogenarians over 100 years old.
Like living.
And so they did studies all around the world. Why is there so many centenaries?
Right.
Yes. Why is there so many old people over 100 living here? What do they do that they last that long? And it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's a purpose of life, it's diet, it's family, it's spirituality, it's all those main things you think it is.
Well, here's a plug, and I don't mean to, but that's the thing that I talk about, and James does his different kind of freelancing. That's the thing, staying engaged, having a purpose, working. These people live longer because they continue to work.
They're out there macheting stuff at like 90.
They just because why not? They do it. They love it. It's not, and people, North Americans, and I talk with a lot of them, and James works with them as well, are ready to stop. They're ready to stop. They're ready to give it up. They're ready to do all the things that the North America tells you want to do when you're older. You want to give it up. You want to take your time now instead of, well, maybe you just do it your way, the way you want to, with whom you want to.
I don't know. I feel like a large part of people like our age and older, they've given up on their life. It's like okay, I did this thing, I worked, and maybe they're successful in work or whatever, and then all of a sudden they get, I don't know, a little older, and they just kind of like give up. There's no new adventure.
Yeah.
They now they got the belly. They don't, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care. What do you mean you don't? You die.
Well, the average age of death right now is, given that nothing takes you out, right? Something to take you out. But if not, the average age of death is somewhere around 84, 80, man, woman, depending. So we're looking at all of us here. You, of course, will go sooner because the oldest are sitting here.
I could go anytime.
We have like 20 years at best. Like if you go statistically.
No, I agree. I'm fine with death.
Yeah.
To me, everything's sugar and cereal.
But then
my life is good. If I died tomorrow, I've told anybody that knows me, I'm good. You know, I mean, I'm good.
That's a very healthy attitude to have. Well, but then you live each moment. You kind of go, I really could. At any moment, something can take you out. You wake up.
Especially when it happens close to you. The guy one of the major families here, the guy that owns the gym and the disco and all these, he's a really nice guy. His name was Annabelle. And 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, 58 years old. And he was a little chunky, but he did his own work. He didn't have people work. He had money, but he would be out raking his own leaves, doing his own thing. So it's not like he didn't get out.
Yeah.
And everyone was super surprised. I mean, they bury you quick and all that. So there was huge parades because he was a well-known character. And I was like, how old was he? And he was younger than me. And I'm like, it kind of sets it. Okay.
I'm going to guess there was something genetic there or something.
It was a heart attack. Yeah. But I'm just saying it kind of writes you because it could. We're not immune from that.
Well, here's the other thing, and I'm going to just bring this up real quick. But I wake up in the morning now, and I have to work it, you guys. I work this, and I kind of like there's so many bad things right now in the world. People being bombed, people being displaced, people having to leave homes that they will never ever go back to. Like the home they grew up in, 3 generations worth, it was bombed, they're leaving. And I'm waking up in Costa Rica with my friends and my husband, and I'm upright, I'm standing, nothing's taken me out yet. We have things like everybody else that we worry about. Okay, you got to pay whatever. But I'm like, what a privilege. And if I got to find my gratitude in that
Grateful,
moment.
Yeah, man.
You got to. It's like it's a decision.
It's hard sometimes not to take, I've been here 18 years. Sometimes, I just take this as this is how my life is. But it's like, I'm living a dream compared to a lot. We're living a dream. And I have to go, Mike, what are you bitching about? You're waking up with a volcano looking at you and you can
right
do
there.
This
it's thing. Right there, you guys. It's gorgeous.
Yes. Well, what do you It's right there. You just can't see the tip of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's this one here, not the real one over here. It's this one here. Okay.
This is a real one. We're out by the lake. We're going to go I'm gonna do a little swim. Guys, you know, there was only one thing there are a few other things, and I'm sure some people will point them out, but you know, it's been a money thing. The exchange rate has really hurt Costa Rica because the dollar went so weak and the colon got kind of strong. Now it is going back up now. I don't know if you guys follow that.
He does.
But it killed the tourism industry. It kills that exchange rate, kills them, you know.
Yeah, because people are like, then, I can't.
You know, and then there's the idea, you know, the borrow money here, you know, left and right too. So a lot of people have concerns about the money situation. That's probably another video, though. That's probably
all I'd say is back to the other conversation we just had, which is do what you want to do it now. And if this could cost you an extra $1,000 to come to Costa Rica, I'm just making it up. Spend the $1,000 and come to Costa Rica. It's like, do what you need to do. The $1,000 will not make it or break it. Or it's like he's always said to me, honey, if that's going to make or break us, we got bigger issues.
Yeah, we got bigger issues.
Yeah.
Guys, we probably could do part 2 and 3 on this video, but I think we touched a lot of things. I want to thank you guys. It's always fun to talk to you guys. Always good perspective and opinions. I really like it.
And we're going to see you again in November.
Yes, but next relocation retreat, we're also going to do another video here in about 2 minutes you don't even know about.
Oh.
But we'll space them. People will never know. Guys, I'm Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Things are going to pop up if you're thinking about living or traveling anywhere. Always do your homework and research. And if it's Costa Rica, I must say me.
Revita.
Ciao.